Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be doing a quick demonstration on creating a very simple application using a software known as IntelliJ, which is an IDE that stands for Integrated Development Environment. So an IDE simply creates an environment for you to create applications, to write them in specific languages, and then test your application and publish it. So basically, we are going to be using the Java programming language. IntelliJ is a very suitable IDE for Java programming, and it also supports a couple of other programming languages as well. So for this demonstration, the first step we need to do in creating this application is searching for IntelliJ and installing it on your computer. So the first thing we need to do is search for IntelliJ IDE, and then we will see a link by JetBrains, who are the developers of IntelliJ. You click on the link and it takes you to the download page once you click on download. Now, IntelliJ is compatible with different operating systems. So you could download it on Windows, on Mac OS, on Linux as well. So for me, I'm currently using a Mac OS system. And there's also something to take note as well. So IntelliJ has two different versions. We have the IntelliJ Ultimate version, and we also have the IntelliJ Community version, which is an open source version of IntelliJ. So IntelliJ Ultimate is like a premium version that you would have to subscribe for, you have to pay for, while IntelliJ Community Edition is free of charge. So for me, I'm going to download the IntelliJ IDE. I'll choose the Apple Silicon based on my type of MacBook. You download the Intel DMG if you are on Intel Mac. So I currently have IntelliJ downloaded and installed on my computer, but I will just show you the steps that were taken in installing IntelliJ. So once this has been downloaded, you can navigate to your downloads directory, and you would see idealc.dmg. So once you have this downloaded, you double click on it, and for Mac you drag it to the applications folder. So I'm just going to install it afresh, and that replaces the old installation. So once that is done, we have our IntelliJ IDE set up. So if you don't have it on desktop, you can simply create an alias for it. So right click on it, make alias, and then you drag it to desktop. So now I'm going to launch IntelliJ by double clicking on it. And so for you, if you are using IntelliJ for the first time, you may not be taken to this screen. You will be taken to the customization screen, or a place where you can choose the theme you want for the IntelliJ IDE. So currently I've chosen dark theme, which I think is easy on the eyes. And if you decide to go for a light theme, I strongly advise against light themes because you will be working on your system for long hours as a developer, and it may not be the right option for your eyesight, and it can also cause some sleep problems as well. So, but that's nothing to worry about once you use a dark theme. And I personally prefer one dark, and Darkola is also a good option, but I prefer the one dark theme. So now that we have IntelliJ installed on our system, we go to project and you create a new project. So in the process of clicking on the new project, you have this pane that pops up. And on the left side, on the left pane, you can see we have different types of application that we can create. So we can use IntelliJ for creating an Android application. We can use IntelliJ for creating like a plugin that other users can use as well, or a desktop application, an application that runs on different platforms. So you can create an application that runs on Android and iOS and the likes. So these are different types of applications that you can create for on IntelliJ. So for we creating a new application, this is just a simple desktop console application that we want to create here. So the name section, you simply specify the name. So I will just call this one sample test app. The location indicates the place on your computer where these project files will be saved. And we also have languages, so you can decide to create your project using the Java programming language, or Kotlin, or Groovy, HTML. And you can also add extra plugins as well to support Python, Rust, and Scala. So, but for this project, we are going to be using the Java programming language, and we also have another option here that says build system. So the build system is basically a file that will be created in your project. So that file is responsible for connecting all the dependencies, all the things that your project is dependent on. So your project will be dependent on different libraries, different tools. So you can specify and see them in your build file. So you can create your build system using IntelliJ or Maven type of file or Gradle. These are just different file types that handles your dependencies. So for someone who is interested in building mobile applications, you in Android Studio, you want to get yourself familiar with Gradle, which is like default build that is being used in Android Studio. And for those interested in building web applications in Java, Maven is more commonly used, but you can use any of them for building either web or Android applications. Then there is also one important thing, which is the JDK. JDK stands for the Java Development Kit. So the Java Development Kit is like a set of tools, set of libraries that helps you to be able to write code in Java. So in order for you to write code in Java programming language, you will need a JDK. But the IDE creates the interface for you to use the JDK in creating your application. So on the JDK, we have different versions of JDK, and newer ones are released, I think, from time to time, probably every 6 months or thereabout. So on your JDK, you can add a JDK, you can download it directly from here. I already have a JDK here, so once you have this, you can just click on download, and it downloads and saves your JDK and uses it here. And if you can also download your JDK separately on this website. So you can just click on JDK, search for JDK, click on downloads, and once this opens up, it leads you to a website, oracle.com, where all the versions of JDK that has been created are listed. And so you can download your JDK from here as well. I have downloaded the previous JDK, so either you download JDK from here, which I've done here, or you download the JDK separately. You will see it on your download folder. And once you double click on it, it creates the folders where you have your JDK, and then you move this to the specified directory that you want. So currently I have my JDK linked to my IDE for this project, and for the Gradle DSL, it's simply just specifying the format that you want to use on your Gradle file, or the language you want to use in your Gradle file rather. So your Gradle file could be created in Kotlin, which is also a programming language, or Groovy as well. So you can choose any of them. I will just leave it as Groovy. And then if you click on advanced settings, you will also see we have Gradle version as well. So Gradle is a build tool that helps you to manage your project dependencies. Then we have our group ID. So the group ID is usually in a reverse domain format. What that means is, if let's say you're a software developer in a company, google.com, so you would most likely have a group ID as com.google. If you're working on your own specific projects, you can just say com. Let's say your name is John, so you say Johnson, and your artifact ID must be the same with your name, project name as well. So you can see, as I'm changing the name of my project, it's also reflecting in the artifact ID. Now, the combination of your group ID and your artifact ID is what makes your project unique. So if you decide to publish these projects online, your project will be identified by a combination of your group ID and artifact ID. So in some places you would not see group ID, you will see package name, so which kind of refers to the same thing. So your package name will be com.johnson.sampletestapp. So while we have set up our project, we just simply create it. So we say Gradle supports JDK version 1.8 through 19. Do you want to proceed with JDK? So I would advise that when you are downloading the SDK, if you want to download an SDK, that by default it will show you the latest version, but as at today, September 16, 2023, I would advise you go for version 17, so which I've downloaded already. So I'll just specify JDK 17, and then I create my project. So you can see Gradle is building the project. What it simply means is trying to get all our dependencies for us to start work on the project. So now that our project is fully set up, this is a template or a sample application for us to run. So what we'd simply do is click on this run button at the top. Now you can see some messages below that if you look closely, you will see we have hello world, hello and welcome. Now if you look at this file, main.java file, you will see we have hello and welcome. So I will simply just change the text that is here and write welcome to my simple calculator app for demonstration purpose. And you will see once I click on this one button, the message now changes to welcome to my simple calculator app for demonstration purpose. So this is a very simple way to create applications. So in the next lessons, I'm going to explain what all these things mean. So on the left side, you can see we have our project structure. I'm going to take you through the project structure. I'm going to take you through the build.gradle file. And just one more thing I need to add, if you have any problems running this application, so sometimes when you click on this, you may not see this message. So if this refuses to work, what you can do is you click on your Gradle file, you click on task, you have your build, and then you double click on build, and that builds your project. So thank you for listening. See you next time.